Stampin' Sharon. Today we're going to tackle those hard masculine cards with 3 easy cards that you could use for any occasion, any colors of ink, any stamp set. If you currently do not have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, need a catalog, want to sign up for my newsletter, anything at all, click the Show More button below the video and then you can find everything you need listed below. Let me show you these easy masculine cards. I'm going to share with y'all how I made 3 easy cards using these 2 stamp sets. Peaceful Moments, because I needed a happy birthday, and Stacked Stone, because I needed masculine cards. So, let me show you my cards. Here's the first one. Super easy. Here's the second one. And here's the third. They all have the same elements, but they all 3 look totally different. I needed 3 birthday cards, one for my son and his 2 sons. First part of July. I was getting ready to leave for vacation and I was like, oh gosh, what am I gonna do? I gotta get these in the mail before I leave town. Here we go. Let me show you how easy they are. So first, I cut 6 pieces of very vanilla cardstock, 4 inches by 5 1/4, because I need one for the outside and one for the inside. And then I cut 3 pieces of soft suede, 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored all of them at 5 1/2. I do have a tutorial to share with y'all. It is listed below on the video, my blog post, and you can go grab that because I hear all the time how hard masculine cards are. You just can't think of anything. So these cards could be adapted for just about any stamp set, but I thought the Stacked Stone was something that was really masculine and I hadn't used it yet. You're gonna need a package of the longer Post-it notes. And we're going to line this up on this line. We want our Post-it note to be perfectly straight. Let's move it over just a little bit more. That looks good. So I did adjust my Post-it note because I want it right on that line so that this part is perfectly straight. Then I'm going to take my sponge brayer and we're going to add some ink. Now when I'm inking up the brayer, I'm going all the way around and I'm just rolling it straight out. I don't want to roll back and forth because that would only be that much ink. The fun part's going to be when we use the Stacked Stone. So here's my stamp. I'm going to ink up the whole thing with soft suede. And I did the same technique for all of my cards. It just depended on where I put that Post-it note. Now, since this stamp is so big, the best way to ink up my card, is to line it up. Take my scrap paper so I don't get ink on my hands. And I call this upside down stamping because trying to get that big stamp to stamp straight, it's too stressful. So just do it like this. And there you go. Super fun. So I have my sentiment layers and the very vanilla is 1 1/4 by 2 inches. And then my soft suede is 1 1/2 by 2 1/4. Remember, I have that free download for you to remember these cards. We're gonna ink up Happy Birthday and we're gonna center it right there. And then I have a sponge. This is one of the Stampin' Up sponges that I cut into quarters. I'm gonna hold my fingers right underneath there and I'm just gonna give that edge a little bit of sponging. I just thought it made it look I don't want to say dirty, but a little bit more masculine. We're just adding a little bit of sponging. And then now we're going to add some adhesive. Super quick cards. I mean, literally the day before I was leaving, I panicked. I was like, oh my gosh, by the time I get back, it'll be their birthday. So we're going to add some dimensionals. And then we're going to add some adhesive. I am using the Seal, not the Seal Plus. So I do have a little bit of a gumminess, so I'm kind of twisting my wrist there to get that off. I'm going to pop this on here. We're going to put this about right there. And then I grabbed the gilded gems because I felt like those really look masculine. We're going to finish off the card by adding some more vanilla, very vanilla on the inside. So if you want to make 3 cards, this is how you do it really quick. I always like to hold the paper in my hand to make sure it's where I want it before I press it down. Okay, first card done. Now we're going to turn our cardstock and we're going to get our Post-it note. And we're going to mask off this side. See how even that looks when I line everything up? And it doesn't matter that it's not perfect because of the stamping that I do with the stacked stone. Same process. We're just going to ink it up again. Pick up our card. Line it up. I love these smaller grid papers. They're really for the Stamparatus, but it comes in a huge pack, so I use them all the time, especially for something like this. This is a great technique. We used to do a lot of sponging, and you know, all the other fancy techniques come out and we get away from some of those old ones, but it's a fun one. Okay, we're gonna put our card together. And I do have a little bit of smudge right here, but my sentiment layer is going to cover that. So don't panic if that happens to you. I never panic. I just feel like it's always a way to be creative. We're going to hide it somehow. It's our chance to be creative. This will go on the inside. My sentiment layers are exactly the same as the other one. My Very Vanilla is 1 1/4 by 2 inches. My Soft Suede is 1 1/2 by 2 1/4. We're going to hold our fingers right here. Dirty up our card. don't know, it was just kind of a fun thing to do. And since I was doing so much sponging, I was like, let's just continue the fun. Sometimes I just stick my fingernail in there, or other times I grab my Take Your Pick tool. If I do it this way, I end up with dimensionals all over the house, but it's okay. My husband's used to it. Okay, so I do see a smudge right here, but remember, we have our gilded gems, so I'm not gonna stress. We'll just put that right there. And we're gonna put all big ones on this card. These are the kids that will keep my cards, so that always makes me happy. So that's why they had to be different. I couldn't let them all be the same. And there we go. Okay, we're ready to do it again. This is our third card. I'm gonna line everything up. I'm gonna grab my Post-it note. Whoops. My paper's getting a little dirty. It's hard to see. Let's flip it over. So I really want the bigger portion of this to have my brick on it, my stacked stone. So I'm going to go down to this line right here. There we go. So this time I want a lighter color coverage of the crumb cake. I wanted this card to be lighter. I wanted it to be different. On the other ones, I added more crumb cake, but on this one, not so much. Okay, now this is the only hard part to remember. I want my stone to be this way, okay? So don't let me forget to do it that way. All right, we're gonna ink up our stamp. And I'm inking the whole thing because I don't know exactly where it's gonna hit and where it's not. So on this one, I'm going to put my paper this way. And stamp upside down. You know, if it's hard for you to do with your hands, you can always use this part of your arm to do the pressure. Like I said, we used to do this years ago all the time. Ta-da! It worked. That's the only one that's tricky, if any of it's tricky. We just want to turn and make sure we're stamping it the right way. Okay, so this sentiment layer is different because I wanted a different card. My Very Vanilla on this one is 1 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then my Soft Suede is 1 1/2 by 3 1/2. We're going to stamp our sentiment right here in the center. So on this sentiment, I chose not to sponge it. Again, trying to keep it different. So we're just going to adhere our layers. But you certainly could. Here's my card layer. Place that there. Add this right here. Add our layer for the inside. And now I have 3 more cards in case this ever happens to me again for any of the men in the family. Maybe they won't compare cards. There's that. And then we're going to pull in our gilded gems again. And this time, that's how I'm going to decorate my sentiment layer, is with the gilded gems. And I'm going to use the smaller ones. How's that for 3 fast cards? I was pretty proud of myself because they all are different, and I got them done and got them in the mail. So hope this was inspiring to you for when you're making your masculine cards. And leave me a comment below. I would love to hear what you think about my 3 different versions using the same 2 stamp sets, same elements. Happy stamping, y'all.